Hey everyone, I'm starting the video for today. We're going to do one video and put the mailbox in, and then a second video we'll put the birdhouse in, and I think it'll divide up the time pretty well. Remember that when the two videos are done, then you work on the whole drawing. I want you to go a little bit further and try some things in perspective, try things that are either hand-drawn or both. However you want to spend some time on the drawing. If you want to get up into the A quality for the drawing, then you have to add some extras and don't do just the minimum I'm showing you in my drawing. So A equals more. We're going to start here right away on the mailbox. There's just a couple of details, which is why I'm showing you how this one works, why I picked this assignment. First of all, let's decide the mailbox is kind of like a little rectangle. You know, it would have a part that opens and closes. So do I want it facing like this in my drawing? Do I want it like this in my drawing? It's going to overlap the horizon line. So do I want it this way? Do I want it over here like that? Do I want it over here? In my drawing, it's going to have a post coming down. And I know the back of it, the post will be, I want to put mine right around here, because the back's going to be here and I want it to go in front of it. You would be thinking kind of where you want it to be. So I decided I want mine to be right about here. And so to get this mailbox started, we need the front corner again, just like we did on the doghouse, this front line. And we're going to put in this front line by going 1 inch above the horizon line and 1 inch below the horizon line. Make 2 marks, and then we're going to draw a line. So 1 inch above. I just put that dot there to remind myself where I wanted it to be. 1 inch below. If it doesn't clear your doghouse, it can just overlap your doghouse. That's fine. So just erase out the doghouse where it overlaps. And then I'm going to make a vertical line, inch above and inch below. Every drawing is going to be very slightly different, which is what makes this fun, but you're going to follow me through the steps. 1 inch above, 1 inch below. So that's the front corner of my mailbox. 1 inch above, 1 inch below. And then, like I said, I can't find where I put my eraser shield, so I just have a piece of paper I'm using instead, and that's working just fine. So it just has to be something that's thin for your eraser shield that keeps you from erasing your drawing. I'm getting rid of these marks. So 1 inch above, 1 inch below. By the way, I'm going to be teaching this lesson live in class, but if you're not in class for some reason, or you just want to do it this way, it'll be the same information. So just like the doghouse, we're going to go take this in perspective to the 2 vanishing points. It's like the doghouse, and then it has a smaller side and a bigger side. It's going to be like the rural mailboxes you see out in the country. So that's kind of what we're going for with this drawing. So I've decided that this side is going to be my smaller side, and this is going to be my bigger side. So the opening, and then we're going to have a post coming down. Now if you imagine yours, if I did it this way, the post coming down would be like right over this thing, and I don't think that would be a very good detail. So if I wanted it that way, I should probably move the line over so I can build it right here, and then the post would come down here somewhere. It's really kind of up to what you want, if you can imagine where it's going to end up being. So I got a couple lines here, from the top and the bottom to the right vanishing point, and then a couple lines. That's going to be my smaller side. If perspective is a little more difficult for you, then I would probably draw yours so it looks a lot like mine. It doesn't have to look exactly like it. So here's the top. So the view we're taking this time is a little different. We're drawing something overlapping the horizon line. So if it's right in the middle, just like I'm holding this Kleenex box, you can't see the top or the bottom. That's the view we have for this particular drawing. So I'm going to put in, this is you know, a creative decision. I'm going to put in a vertical line for each side. I think I want one about here for this side and about here for this side. So using my angle on the bottom of the paper, if for some reason your angle's not long enough, you can always put your angle on the top of the paper. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter which part of the paper using your angle on. So down here on the bottom, very, very vertical line. Here we go. Okay, and at this point, I want you to do some erasing. I want you to erase the line in the middle. You can let it show a little bit. I think we're going to need it later, but just as a reference. So erase your horizon line. Your mailbox is overlapping the horizon line. We can't see the horizon anymore. Just like if a boat goes by on the ocean, you can't see the horizon line anymore. Okay, I'm erasing out, shortening my lines. Okay, this is our basic mailbox, and we have a few different details I'm going to show you in this video. The first detail I'm going to show you is going to have a post coming down under it. You know, a 4x4, so 4 inches by 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches, and it comes down. A very classic thing to put on one of these mailboxes. However, it's not going to be right here on the corner. If you think about it, if this is my mailbox and I do it right on the corner, so look at underneath, it would end up right here. So that's not the right place for it. It's actually going to be in from the corner a little. So it would appear to be right here in the middle on the back side, not on the corner of the back side. So just to kind of place it correctly, we're just doing something really quick. We're going to find the back side of the inside of the mailbox. This is a light line, just a reference. I'm going to crisscross the corners at the bottom of my mailbox, just really light, and I'm going to find the middle of the back end. If I actually want the middle, I can cross the diagonals. You can do all kinds of things with perspective. Cross the diagonals, and then take that line back. I was going to estimate it, but it's like, you know, I could just find the middle. So here's the middle of the back side of the mailbox. So if it has a 4x4 thing in it, it's going to be kind of like this, a little thing in there, the base of the, so it's going to come down. I'll just see 3 lines of it coming down. The reason I'm going through all this trouble, I said it's just not on the corner. If you want, you can estimate where it comes down. I'm not going to draw it on the inside. I'm just going to draw here coming down. There's going to be 3 lines. Okay, at this point, I know it's going to overlap my doghouse, so I'm going to do I just vertical line, not at the corner. You can skip all this, just don't put the vertical line right at the corner. It's not going to be at the corner. It's going to be in a little ways. Just kind of showing you can play with this stuff. Perspective is your friend. Okay, erase out the doghouse if it's overlapping. It's possible yours is over here and it doesn't overlap at all. I want mine to end down in here somewhere. If you want it to be taller, you could bring it all the way down here. That would be fine. It could be across the sidewalk. Mine's going to be right next to it. So you have some choices, creative choices with this. I'm going to erase the thing I just put in. Okay, I can barely see it there. So I'm going to have another line. I think I found it right about here, coming down very vertically. And then another one that's more shallow. Oh, I have to do some more erasing. A little bit more. And my other line coming down through overlapping doghouse. Using my angle. Since these are all 3 vertical lines, are kind of doing the same thing. It's easy to, whoops, it's not easy when everything moves sides on you. See? Everybody makes mistakes. Let's draw that line again. Draw this one again since I erased it. So the idea is you want it looking like a post. So the bottom of this post will go towards the one vanishing point and then back towards the other. This is an important detail because we're looking down on the bottom of the post, and so it would look like this from this view. If I had a post overlapping the horizon line, the same post, okay, looking up at it, it would be like this, looking down like this to the vanishing points. Does that make sense? A post is just like another square. A rectangle is just longer. Okay, so we put our mailbox on some kind of a post. You can make it longer and put it here. It could be over here. You decided which way it's going to face. That's pretty fun. The next detail we're going to do is we're going to put a rounded top on this mailbox. This is going to be the front of it. And I want to show you something kind of crazy. Circles are pretty hard to put into perspective, and there are formulas for being even more exacting, but this one is a really nice average. And so it works really well. So if I had a square, and in my square, you know what, I'll make this slightly larger. I don't know how much larger. Okay, in my square, let's say I cross my diagonals to find the middle, and then I put a vertical line through the middle and a horizontal line through the middle. If I was drawing a circle, and the circle was the size of the square, I know that outside parts of the circle would touch the square right on these midpoints. Okay, the other thing that happens is your circle also crosses these, I don't know what a half diagonal is, anyway, half diagonals, at the 2/3 mark. So right about 2/3 of the way along, that's when my circle goes through. 2/3 of the way along, that's when the circle is. So divide this up, and you could use your ruler actually, because we're not drawing a perspective here. Once it gets there, you can't. 2/3. So putting my circle into this square, that's how it would work with the 2/3 mark. So that's how I can draw a circle not into perspective. But since we can put so many of these things in perspective, we can put, for instance, half a circle in perspective. Square, rectangle, doesn't matter. So we can put a rounded top in the mailbox because we can do this. So this is how we're going to do it. First of all, we're going to cross on the small side of your mailbox. Let's cross our two diagonals to find the middle. Not really using the bottom part. Well, I'll do it so you can see it. Not too dark. Okay, so I just put in this and this, right? That's that part. Now I need a line right through the middle. I have the midpoint. Make sure my angle's straight on the bottom. I don't think it's so small you can't see it. So I'm putting my pencil, this is a very specific spot. Put my pencil on that, putting my angle around the bottom edge so I can draw a nice clean vertical line. So here's my vertical line here. I already have a line going here at the bottom half of my circle. So what I'm doing is I'm putting together, you don't have to do this in color, this diagram here. I only need the top half of this. I'm not putting together a circle, I just want half a circle. So I have this pretty much ready to go. All I have to do, this equals this up here. All I have to do is divide this up into thirds. You can't use a ruler, I'm afraid. Thirds. And then to put my half circle in perspective, it's going to touch up here, it's going to touch here and here, and I just carefully draw it through the thirds. And that's my, probably a name for half a circle. Sorry, I don't remember the name. So here's my rounded top on the mailbox. The bottom we didn't round, just the top. 2/3 of the way here, touches here, and here. And so this front side's going to be bigger than the back side. So it's actually in perspective. It's going to work with the drawing. I'm going to leave mine there a little bit so you can keep looking at it. On your drawings, I would get rid of that extra stuff. I'm going to do some erasing just to look a little cleaner down here. So one thing that's going to happen now is you'll notice it's going to lower the top of the mailbox. The mailbox doesn't go up to that point anymore. It goes up here. So I'm going to, it's easier if you erase this first. Take out this line. Stop the video if you got behind me. You can catch up in a second. I took out that line. There is a new top to the mailbox. It goes from the top of this, or wherever the furthest part of the curve is. I think it is the top of that. And then it's gonna, you're not even gonna have this curve over on this side. It's not gonna show. There's our new top to the mailbox. Now we notice that we have a curve here, but we don't have a curve here. We already transferred the top on the bottom. We can't transfer this line. It's not helpful because we don't have a point in the line. One thing we could do, if we wanted, we could find the inside of the back of the mailbox again, draw the diagonals, go up here, go 2/3, and we could actually find that detail. So yes, you can find it. In the case of this drawing, I'm only going to make you do that once. I would say erase the corner, and let's just draw an angle that starts at this, or curve. It starts on this line, ends here, and looks a whole lot like that curve. So let's just sketch in that back detail, okay? So that's pretty realistic looking, but like I said, actually you could go find it if you really wanted to. If you do some extra crazy stuff in perspective, will you go ahead and leave behind some lines for me, because it'd be fun for me to see that you actually did that. Okay, next couple more details on this one. First of all, usually the front overlaps the back, so let's just put a little, you know, where the front pulls down and goes back up, vertical line here, and then we'll just kind of go across here. Also, there's going to be a knob up here. You can just draw a little knob. When I have this type of mailbox, it's usually attached here, and then it has a curve. It looks kind of like that. And you put your finger in it, you put your thumb here like this, and you pull open the mailbox. We can just draw a knob. I do know that it'll be up towards the top because we have to pull it down, and it'll be on this center line. So you can draw some kind of knob or whatever you want for this particular detail. Is fine. Next thing we're going to do is put a flag on this. You have a couple of choices. The flag's up, the flag's down. If you've never had one of these mailboxes, when the flag is up, it means that the mailman is supposed to come to your house and pick up the mail. When the flag is down, that means you don't have any business for him. So to draw the flag up, I'll draw both of them for you. Actually, I need it to come from the other direction. So to draw the flag up, I need two parallel lines. You have to be below this midpoint up. And I'm going to move this over and put in another one. Erase a little bit of the roof first. And about this way. And then I can close off the bottom of this. Just putting a little flag. It'll have like another little button on it. Just has to be below the curve. And then the top of the flag, they're pretty basic. It's just a line. And I'm taking these lines to the vanishing point. And it's a nice little detail that's not very hard to do. See how I'm having to go to the upper part of my drawing and use the upper top of my paper for these lines. Okay, so that's the flag up. And then if you wanted the flag down, I'll just sketch it real quick. You would use this same vanishing point. You would draw it that way. This would be probably vertical lines. But the bottom of the flag would go with the vanishing point. So it'd kind of be kind of like that. One more detail on this mailbox. Then we'll do the doghouses. It looks kind of cool when you put, they're usually made out of corrugated metal, which means metal that has those bent. So I often do some kind of detail like this. You can put a number on it, like we put the name on the doghouse, so the numbers of your house, or you could put your name on it or something. If you put a a name or a number on the curved part of your mailbox. Now what this is kind of a small detail. If I wanted to, I could use a ruler to go straight up from here, and then I'd know where to put those things. And putting them on the curve is going to be a little more difficult. But it's a small detail, so I'm not going to do that. Flag up or down, I do want a flag. Remember, it's vertical lines in referring. Okay, here comes something where I'm right on the detail. Remember, I leave a space. I don't draw the whole line so it doesn't throw off the perspective. It's a drawing after all. Anyway, so this is kind of a fun detail. Some people have decorations and their mailbox looks like a cat or something. I don't know. You can have fun with your mailbox. That'd be cool. Very fun. And I'll just show you, if I did, let's say, have my name on the mailbox, it'd be kind of like this. Let's say I wanted it to say Rouse, so it would have to be curved. So it'd be something and refer to this vanishing point. So if it was Rouse, I would have to curve my letters, something like that. And I'm just using these lines to help me center it. And then the E is going to be behind my flag. So that's, if you did put a name or something on the curve, that's how that would look. So for the mailbox, these are the main details. If you wanted to add something fun of your own, a little bit of shading, that would all be fine. And then the next video I'm going to do is going to be of your birdhouse. Thank you.